Who is Claude Monet? This lesson will answer that question. It is designed to go along with the Monet book in your packet. However, it's not necessary that you have the book or packet. You can still learn about Claude Monet and have a little fun creating your own art. Claude Monet was a famous painter from France. He was born in 1840 on November 14th in Paris. At 5 years old, he moved to a port town in the Normandy region. This means he lived near the coast where ships brought in goods to be sold and traded. His father, Adolphe, worked in the shipping business, and his mother, Louise, took care of the family. Claude Monet sketched many of the ships that he grew up watching. He also drew caricature drawings of local people in his town. By the time he was 15, he was well known for his caricature drawings. You may wonder what a caricature is. Caricatures are drawings in which certain striking characteristics are exaggerated or made larger in order to create a comic or grotesque effect. These are two of Monet's caricatures from his town where he grew up. They're quite funny, don't you think? I'm sure these gentlemen recognize themselves. However, we know they didn't look exactly like this. Do you recognize who this caricature is? If you guessed past President Barack Obama, you are correct. Do you see how you can tell who the person is, but it's really a funny picture? Here's another caricature of a famous actor named Jim Carrey. You may have seen him in the movies. Caricatures are done on famous people, but they're also done on regular people. Many times at an amusement park, there will be an artist drawing caricatures. If you want to have one done, you just sit for a few minutes and pay him or her to draw your caricature. Back to Monet. Monet explored the natural world, the world outside. This is what he liked to paint. His desire was to represent natural scenes in modern life, focusing on capturing light and shadow in natural forms. He was a little different from the other artists during this time because he wanted to paint the experience and the emotions of a scene rather than how the scene realistically looked. His style of painting became known as Impressionism. Impressionism is the style of movement and painting originating in France in the 1860s, and it was characterized by concern with depicting the visual impressions of the moment, especially in terms of the shifting effect of light and color. It is a literary or artistic style that seeks to capture a feeling or experience rather than to achieve an accurate depiction of the subject being painted. Here is an example of one of Claude Monet's most famous paintings. The title of this is Sunrise. Notice the squiggly lines and the attention to shadow and light. Notice that it doesn't look exactly like a photograph of boats on the water at sunrise, but we can definitely tell that's what it is. Here's another famous Monet painting. This comes from his collection called Water Lilies. Notice his brush strokes are in swirls and little dots, and he really focuses on the different shades of color and light. One might describe this style as looking a little messy. I kind of like messy. How about you? Here is Monet's portrait of himself. In the style of Impressionism, the actual figures themselves take a back seat, and the importance of color and light are in the front seat. In other words, There's more of a focus on light, shadow, and color than the actual image itself. The way I think about it is that Monet wanted us to see how he saw things instead of just what he was looking at. In the next slide, you will get to take a short little visit to Claude Monet's garden in France. Click the arrow and take in the beauty of what inspired many of his paintings.